Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Hawk Talk. This is Joel Janikowski, and I'm sitting here with Superintendent and Principal Darren Seamands. Thanks for coming in and talking with us today about the January school board meeting happened on Wednesday.
You bet.
So I got the meeting minutes here, and I obviously see that you called the meeting to order. You guys did the pledge. There's you did a confirmation of agenda. But there was a section here that was consideration of bills. So what I was going to let everybody know, what's going on from the previous school board meeting. What was the
consideration of bills. I mean, that's on there every month, and a lot of that is just the bills of the daily runnings of the school. Different contracts we have, whether it be with IXL, which is a curriculum type vendor, whether it's a bill that comes in from any work, a plumber or something like that. Right now because of the pool thing, we're still paying those bills. So typically there's nothing like crazy that's like, oh, what's that? I mean, it's just kind of the monthly runnings where you're reviewing where we're at from the last month.
Gotcha. And then I'm guessing similar with the December manual checks.
Yep. December manual checks. Like a lot of times that'll be you're approving checks for referees. You're approving checks for separate checks that are maybe seasonal, based upon some of the events we've hosted here. Again, sometimes it's some of that work that isn't a monthly ongoing, but like a one-time emergency thing that we may have had to do. It's also where, say you go to a conference, Joel, right? And you turn in your mileage and you turn in your meal for reimbursement. Oh, okay, let's approve Mr. Janikowski's check to reimbursement for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
just those basic things. So then moving on, we have financial reports, December financial report, general report. I'm guessing December activities report. I'm guessing very similar stuff where you're just going over those details.
Yep. And it's more departmentalized, right? It's more directly related back to the budget that was set back in the beginning of the school year. So in that part of the meeting, we're going through and we're saying, okay, secondary special education. Mm-hmm. We've spent 50% of the budget, and then there's a breakdown that Mrs. Ebert does with that, where it'll tell you salary, FICA, how much of it has been on curriculum or supplies for that particular department. So it's just a way to make sure, okay, where are we at with the projected budget we had?
Yep, which is something that's done very often.
Every month. So here we are halfway through the year. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be through 80% of our budget. It's like, we're going to have some issues here at the end of the year if that's the case. And, of course, that's not the predicament we're in. We're on track to be perfect. Things are looking well. We just got done with our yearly audit in December. We do that every year, too, to make sure, again, that we're on track with everything. So, that part is more the big budget items.
Gotcha. Just general review, very, very similar. Miscellaneous business. We have a bunch of reports here. We got superintendent secondary principal report, elementary principal report, athletic director report, and committee report. So, any notes from there?
So just to kind of touch on a few things, of course, each one of those, we, again, do those on a monthly basis, besides the student councils getting more towards a quarterly type thing. But just to kind of point out a few things out of some of these reports. So, of course, my report, the superintendent and 712 principal report, talked about some of the ECF money we got from that grant that you helped write that was for the 21-22 year.
Yep.
Yeah, I said that right. 21-22 year. It took a long time to get those funds because that's a federal grant, and I mean they had us jumping through some hoops.
Yeah, there were a lot of hoops.
But it was nice because we used that money to buy some Chromebooks, so we have some nice Chromebook labs, and we finally actually got the reimbursement for it. So that was nice. That was $9,000 there. Some of the other things is, of course, we're working on the calendar for the 23-24 year already. That should be approved at the February meeting. Talked a little bit about, in my report, about some of the issues we had when it was Antarctica before Christmas. Yes. We had our minus 40 weather. We had some strange freeze-up conditions, as probably half the town did. Not necessarily things to really freak out about because it's not like,
it's not traditional.
Yeah, exactly. We're not actively living in Antarctica, but there are some things we need to do to make sure that we have things available in case that happens again.
Yep.
Otherwise, not a lot. We're coming into the negotiations part of the year. Here at Hettinger Public School, we do that every 2 years. it coincides with the biennium, with our legislative session. So Mr. Erickson and myself are working on some staffing projections for 23-24. That way, as we move into negotiations, both the teacher's side and the board have an idea where we expect things to be going. So that's kind of it for mine. So you got elementary principal. So Mr. Erickson has his report
gotcha.
too.
That was just...
So I want to bring something up that I'm excited about. Mr. Erickson, we're all excited about. So we do the Acadians math with Title I. We do that throughout the year, right? Because we're checking to see if kids are on track, are they at benchmark, all that kind of stuff. And we don't just do it at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. We do it throughout the year to see where kids are going, because once they are above benchmark, then it moves. It changes kind of who we're working with and the strategies we're using with the kids. So I'm excited to say that after this last round of the reading scores, out of our K6, like 75% of our kids are above benchmark, which is outstanding. Outstanding. Awesome work by the kids and the teachers down there. Great work. So we're excited about that. Some of the other stuff, of course, Mr. Erickson, we got some new tables coming for the kitchen. He's in charge of that area, and just some of that kind of good stuff there. So that's kind of just a couple areas to point out. The other big thing to point out from him too that he reported on, we got that math meet coming up.
Yeah.
Math meet coming up in March 31st, and this is open to the public. We'll be getting more information out. We are hosting the math meet for like Southwest North Dakota, and we even bring in some South Dakota teams to compete in that, and that's going to be an awesome event. Be looking for information on that. So we'll be looking to host that and hopefully show off some of our math muscle, baby.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a lot of kids that come to that, because I've seen previous ones in other locations, and it's a lot of kids.
It is a lot of kids.
It's awesome.
One thing that reminds me of that we weren't able to report on the meeting, just to throw out there, Spelling Bee is coming up too.
Yes, it is.
Spelling Bee.
Yeah, Spelling Bee is coming on. Actually, real quick, I can look and see what day that is.
And I believe that's also open to the public. We host that in the big gym. And then, like last year, you guys streamed it.
Yep.
Mr. J.
Yep.
I would imagine you'll probably do it again.
You bet.
But there's nothing like having people in the room.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you can come to the Spelling Bee and watch these kids, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
We pack the place for sports and all that. We need to pack it for this academic stuff, too, because ultimately, in the grand scheme of life, that's what's going to get you where you're going. And I'm telling you, we got some great gifted kids up here. It'd be awesome to see a lot of people in the stands.
That's awesome. And that's going to be on February 8th.
February 8th, soon.
Yep, very soon. And then just jumping back, math meet on the 31st.
March 31st.
Of March.
Yep.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
So AD report, Mr. Kohler goes through his stuff and gives different updates based on what sports seasons we're in. So, of course, obviously, our basketball teams are crazy busy. Our wrestling team is crazy busy. We wish them the best of luck this week and through the rest of their season. And then the last report, because it's the beginning of a new year, we had a student council report. Mrs. Henderson's the advisor of that. And they have a lot of awesome stuff planned over the next 3 months, the student council, high school student council. They're working with myself on some questions to put on the student engagement survey. It's always great to get the kids to put some questions out there that they want answers to. They're also working on their scholarship committee, as seniors that have been members of the student council get an opportunity to do that. They're also taking on some roles that are going to help out a little around here, but also hopefully helps instill some traditional spirit, taking care of those trophy cases and dusting them out on a monthly basis. And hopefully it gives them an opportunity to kind of take a look and grow an appreciation for the past at Hettinger Public School. And then moving on, they got some fundraisers coming. So parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, be looking for that February 14th, right? That Valentine's Day kind of annual fundraiser they do, where you can get your kiddos some treats, some school-approved treats. And the other thing that's neat is this whippersnapper dance that they're going to be doing.
This whippersnapper.
Yeah, man. So here's the deal. I'm excited about this too, because it's I wouldn't think of it on my own. I'm not a good dancer, but here's the deal. We got this junior class every year does the prom. They do a great job of setting up, turns that gym into just a beautiful, beautiful place. So the juniors this year said, "Hey, student council, you want to use some of that stuff and host a dance? It's all yours." So
Oh, wow.
typically it's a daughter-daddy dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a whippersnapper dance because, but here's the deal.
I love that.
It's not just for dads and daughters.
Yep.
It's for moms and sons. So in essence, it's like, you know what, kiddos that are not traditional. And this is, I mean, if you're a high school kid and you want to invite mom and dad, do it. But in the past, it's usually been the younger kids. But it's always been the dad or daughter thing. And it's like, you know what, moms want to, get the moms and the sons involved too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's open to the youth, and they'll be putting out more information on that as well. But it looks like that's coming up in March there. So
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm guessing that's athletic director. We did student council. Does that kind of summarize also committee reports as well?
yeah, it does. That kind of takes care of all that. We talked a little bit about the pool. That's always on everyone's mind. Just to throw out there, we actually do have a date now set in March 20th is when Associated Pools is going to come, and they will start to finish the pool shell. So that means within 3 weeks from March 20th, there will be water in that pool. That doesn't mean the walls and stuff will necessarily be done.
But there'll be water.
But there'll be water in the pool. The pool shell will be done. In order for that to happen, most of the outside of the pool, not outside of the building, but the surrounding area, most of that has to be done in order for that to even happen. So, I mean, we're getting really close here, folks. We're getting really close.
Next guy on the list, we got unfinished business. So Eng Tech update.
So again, Eng Tech is the firm that we've worked with for the windows, the pool, the boilers. Not a lot to update there. The good news is the window project is done. I mean, not to rehash that, but pool's getting close, and then we can move on from Eng Tech and look at doing some other things. So
Awesome.
The other part is the ESSER grants. Again, we're sitting here. We have some ESSER money. We're kind of waiting to see what the state's going to do with this legislative session. We have some of that money earmarked. Being as far away from places as we are, it takes a while to get some of these projects done. So there's some legislation that hopefully gets passed that will allow us to hang on to that money a little bit longer so we can make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck with some of the projects we're looking at doing.
That's awesome. Well, great. So then really that leaves just the kind of the last section here on our meeting notes here. New business. We actually have quite a few pieces here. So
Yep.
Petition for recognition of negotiating unit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw the new business A and B, so because it deals with recognizing the negotiation parties. Formality at this time, just following state law, we have to recognize what's going to be the negotiating unit for the teachers as we are approaching the negotiation period, and then recognizing the petition that they put together. So, I mean, it was really just to pretty much, make a motion to approve, second, and then away we went with it. So,
Great. So then after that, date to recognize notice of petition.
yeah, same thing. That's just saying here's the petition. We have to, once that's been submitted, we have a time period where we have to make a decision if we're going to recognize that or not. So there will have to be a quick special meeting before our next regular board meeting, and that'll probably be the only piece of business on that. And then again, it'll just be a quick formality to agree it to move that forward so we can begin negotiations after all that's done.
Gotcha. Then next up, we got snow days and ancillary staff.
You bet. We're just looking at with the snow days that we had and the hourly staff, just trying to be creative as a way to as we plan out the rest of the year. It's a complex discussion. So we probably don't have a lot of time here, but as a district, we're looking at it and saying, okay, what do we need to do to make our academic goals? How much time do we need to put in? That's not going to be the same time as the minimum the state requires, right? We don't want to do the minimum here at Hettinger Public School, but we also don't want to be running school until July, right? And of course, Mother Nature, we're just getting rocking and rolling with winter here. So you have that part of it. What are we going to do to make up some hours? And then in that whole process, we're worried about what can we do to help people make up some hours who are hourly. Because anyone who's ever worked hourly, you know how that goes. When you miss work unexpectedly, that hurts the paycheck. So we don't want to put anybody in a bind, although we can't necessarily just make stuff up, right? We got to make sure we're being equitable and we're being diligent to the taxpayers, and making sure it's working both ways. So the district's just looking at some different ideas that we can do moving forward to give hourly people an opportunity to help the district with some of our projects, and yet get some hours that they lost out because of unexpected stuff.
Gotcha. Great. Last two pieces, we have attendees for new members seminar and attendees for negotiations seminar.
Yeah.
So what's all that about?
So that's for school board members and administration. So we have North Dakota School Board Association puts on, and NDCEL puts on that conference on a yearly basis, and it's just a nice refresher. There's a lot of state laws. There's a lot of laws that deal with negotiations. So that's a refresher course, and there's also some new. For new members, for new administrators, new board members, there's some breakout sessions they have up in Bismarck. So again, it's just always good practice to go up there, because we don't want to do anything wrong. We want to make sure that we're doing everything on the level and as transparent as possible, and move forward from there. During negotiations is not the time to be messing up on legal stuff. So
Of course.
yeah, just some classes.
Making sure we're getting everything taken care of.
You bet.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much summarizes everything up. The next school board meeting is going to be February 15th at 6 p.m. Would like to thank Darren Seamands for coming in and kind of giving us the lowdown on everything from the last board meeting here. And remember that you can listen to Hawk Talk not only on YouTube, but you can also listen to it anywhere that you listen to your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of those platforms. You can listen to this anywhere. And thank you for tuning in, and have a great